Hello everyone, welcome to you all. So in this, I'm going to explain about NAAC revised manual which will be commenced from 1st June 2022. If you are affiliated college or constituent college, or if you are already having NAAC accreditation under affiliated colleges, if you want to go for renewal for cycle 2, cycle 3, etc., for engineering institutions, PG colleges, MBA colleges, MCA colleges, etc. For all these colleges, even first time if you are applying for NAAC accreditation, if you are affiliated or constituent college. So keep these points in your mind. So NAAC changed the manual which will be commenced from 1st June 2022. So if you already submitted your IAQA, then no problem. So for you, old manual only applicable. So the old manual, whatever the current manual available for affiliated or constituent colleges, so that was revised in December 2019, which will be effective from 1st January 2020 onwards. So from the time to till May 31st, 2022, so old manual only applicable. Suppose if you want to stick on to the new manual, or if you can apply your IAQA from 1st June 2020 onwards, you will be coming under the revised manual. So from 1st June 2022 onwards, you are not eligible to use the previous old manual. So suppose if any of the institutions you already prepared your self-study report based on the current available manual. So immediately don't delay, you can submit your IIQA immediately. Whoever submitted IIQA before 31st May 2022, you are eligible for the current old manual. Then from 1st June 2022 onwards, whoever submitted are going to submit your IOQA from 1st June 2022 onwards. So the new manual will be effective. So at that time, old manual won't be in place. So by keeping all these, so here in advance, so recently 20th April 2022, NAAC placed the revised manual on the NAAC website. So here I have studied the current manual and the revised manual. So here I prepared what are the major changes, what are the additions, what are the removals. So all I'm going to explain clearly. So by seeing this video, you may get clarity. So which manual is better based on your institute. So based on the activities, so which is better, based on that you can choose and make use of this video. Coming to the outline, first here, NAAC institutional grades and accreditation status. Overview of the current available manual, that is December 2019, which will be affected from 1st January 2020. And the revised manual, which was released in April 2022, which will be effective from 1st June 2022. Then what are the major changes in revision manual? These are all the various topics we are going to cover in this video. First, let us see if you are new to the NAAC. So what are the grades and accreditation status? So the following table shows NAAC grade with CGPA and status. So first you can come to from bottom. So if your CGPA, cumulative grade point average, is less than or equal to 1.5, then the NAAC letter grade is D. So then the status is not accredited. So if your CGPA is in between 1.51 to 2, then the letter grade is C, then your institution is accredited with C grade. Then if your CGPA is 2.01 to 2.50, then the letter grade is B, here also status is accredited. Then if your CGPA is 2.51 to 2.75, then the letter grade is B plus, then the status is accredited. Then 2.76 to 3, then letter grade is B double plus, then the status is accredited. Then 3.01 to 3.25, the letter grade is A, then the status is accredited. Then the CGPA is between 3.26 to 3.50. The letter grade is A plus, then the status is accredited. Then finally, the CGPA grade is between 3.51 to 4. Then letter grade is A double plus, then accredited. This is the highest grade. So this is 4-point scale. So if your institute wants to go for autonomous in future, so minimum, so NAAC A grade is required, or otherwise if your institute is technical institution, then at least 50% of programs should be accredited by NBA, National Board of Accreditation, with minimum three programs secured 675 score out of 1000. If NBA is not there, or even if NBA having, but your score is not 675 minimum for at least three programs, you are not eligible for going to autonomous status. At that time, NAAC is useful. So at current, the UGC regulations, either NAAC A grade minimum or NBA three programs 675 minimum score out of 1000. So any one criteria needs to be fulfilled initially. So like that, you can aim for minimum A grade if you want to go for autonomous in future. So this is the grade sheet for institutions based on the CGPA with the letter grade and status. Now coming to overview of the current manual. So that is which will be applicable up to 31st May 2022. So in the current manual, here you can see that number of criteria and the total number of metrics. So total for universities, autonomous colleges, then affiliated, there are two categories, UG colleges. If any college is not having any PG program, then you can follow UG. Then at least if you are having one PG program, then you can follow PG manual. So then total seven criteria for all type of institutions. Then total key indicators. So for universities, autonomous college 34. Then for affiliated UG college 31 and PG college 32. So these three, these key indicators are divided into so qualitative metrics and quantitative metrics. So qualitative metrics are nothing but write-ups. So up to for 500 words, we have to write the description. Then qualitative metrics are evaluated during peer team visit. So those are all given the weightage of 30 percentage out of 1000 points. Entire of NAC having 1000 weightage out of 1000. 30% weightage is for qualitative metrics, which can be evaluated by the peer team during inspection. Then remaining 70% of metrics are comes under quantitative metrics. So here these are all like Excel formats, templates are there. We have to upload the data, last 5 years data, all the quantitative metrics. Then those can be evaluated by the third party DVV. So during after submission of your self study report within 15 days of submission, you will get queries or clarifications from the NAAC that can be evaluated by DVV. So during online only, that 70% evaluation will be done. Then altogether, total metrics, if you can see universities, so you are having qualitative and quantitative together 115 metrics, and for autonomous colleges 107, then for affiliated UG college 93, then for affiliated or constituent PG college 96. Now we are discussing about affiliated and constituent colleges. So currently you are having for UG 93 and for PG 96. While coming to the new revised manual, so which will be effective from 1st June 2022. So these 96 metrics are reduced drastically. Most of them are merged and some of them are removed, so that anyway we are going to see here. So then you can see in the current manual the distribution of the metrics criteria wise along with the criteria wise weightage. So are shown in this table. So here you can see total we are having seven criteria in bracket their weightage also mentioned. Now criteria one curricular aspects 100, then teaching, learning and evaluation highest weightage 350 points. Then criteria three research, innovations and extension 120 points. Then criteria four infrastructure and learning resources 100 points. Then criteria 5 student support and progress and 130 points. Then criteria 6 governance, leadership and management 100 points. Then criteria 7 institutional values and best practices 100 points. So out of these, then criteria wise here, how many quantitative metrics and what are their weightages? How many qualitative metrics and what are their weightages? That distribution is also given here. Criteria 1, so total 8 quantitative metrics with 75 weightage, then 3 qualitative metrics with 25 weightage, whereas criteria 2, 9 quantitative metrics with 225 weightage, then 7 qualitative metrics with 125 weightage. Then criteria 3, 12 quantitative metrics with 110 weightage and 2 qualitative metrics with weightage 10. Then criteria for 8 quantitative metrics with 71 weightage and 5 qualitative metrics with 29 weightage. Then criteria 5, 11 quantitative metrics with 120 weightage and 2 qualitative metrics with 10 weightage. Then criteria 6, 6 quantitative metrics with 42 weightage, then 10 qualitative metrics with 58 weightage. Then criteria 7, 6 quantitative metrics with 27 weightage, then 7 qualitative metrics with 73 weightage. So by adding all the quantitative metrics, all criteria together, we are having 60 quantitative metrics. Their weightage is 670. So all these 60 quantitative metrics with 670 weightage that can be evaluated by DVV. So after submission of your SSR, that is online evaluation. Then remaining criteria wise, the qualitative metrics are 36. So the weightage is 330. These 330 marks out of 36 qualitative metrics are evaluated by the peer team during NAAC inspection to the institution. So this is the distribution. Now here the current new manual. So almost the weightages are similar, but many of them are merged. So some criteria weightages are changed, but overall score is 1,000 only. Then coming to, so what are the major changes in the revised manual with effect from 1st June 2022? So recently, updation of the manual is in line with National Education Policy 2020 recommendation. So now your new manual, so in the description, profile of the institution, one separate section in line with the National Education Policy 2022 is added. So compulsory, so we have to follow the NEP policy. In the NAAC also, this was incorporated. So again in January 2022, metrics related to all the seven criteria, including both quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics, have been now reduced to ease the assessment and accreditation process by NAAC for affiliated and constituent colleges without compromising the quality aspects in higher education. Now the 96 metrics combination of quantitative and qualitative are drastically reduced in the new manual and some of them are removed. So then coming to the revised manual, total number of matrices criteria wise. So here affiliated and constant colleges UGPs together same only we have to follow. Total 7 criteria. Then key indicators here 32. Here you can see qualitative metrics. So in the previous old manual around 60 are there. Then qualitative around 36. Then quantitative around 60. Total 96 are there. Now here in the revised manual you can see qualitative metrics 36 becomes 21. Then quantitative metrics 60 becomes 55. So you can see the changes. So how many how many matrices are reduced. Now see the criteria-wise quantitative and qualitative metrics along with their weightages for the new manual. So for current available manual, we already seen the same table for the new manual. So here you can observe the same, almost the same overall weightages are for all the criteria. So criteria 100 same, criteria 2 350 same, criteria 3 earlier it is 100, now it is 110. Then criteria 400, criteria 5 earlier it is 130, now it is 140. Then criteria 600, criteria 700. Now coming to quantitative metrics, see quantitative metrics are drastically reduced. So criteria one quantitative matrices are 4, weightage is 70. Then qualitative matrices are 2, weightage is 30. For criteria 2, quantitative metrics are 7, weightage is 225. Then qualitative metrics are 3, weightage is 125. Criteria 3, 6 quantitative with 80 weightage, then 3 qualitative with 30 weightage. Criteria 4, 3 quantitative with 40 weightage and 3 qualitative with 60 weightage. Then criteria 4, 8 quantitative with 130 weightage and 1 qualitative with 10 weightage. Then criteria 6, 4 quantitative with 46 weightage and 5 qualitative with 54 weightage. Then criteria 7, 2 quantitative with 30 weightage and 4 qualitative with 70 weightage. Almost weightages are similar, so but matrices are reduced. Now, criteria wise, we'll see what are the changes, then what are the matrices removed. Criteria wise, let us see. So, coming to criteria one, so changes are new. The first one, 1.1.1, which is qualitative metric. So weightage is 20. So this is the new weightage. So the institution ensures effective curriculum planning and delivery through well-planned and documented process. This is earlier actually old. Now for this, including academic calendar and conduct of continuous internal assessment. These two are merged. So as per the current old manual, 1.1.1, 1.2.2. Now 1.2.2 is academic calendar and conduct of continuous internal assessment. This is merged with 1.1.1. Now the new one is 1.1.1. Both weightages are added, so 20. So this is the new metric with two qualitative matrices are merged. Then 1.4.1, which is quantitative metric 20 with the weightage. Institution obtains feedback on the academic performance and ambience of the institution from various stakeholders like students, teachers, employers, alumni, etc. And action taken report on the feedback and made available on the college website. So actually earlier in criteria 1.4.1 feedback on curriculum, then 1.4.2 feedback analysis report and that should be placed on the college website. Now these two are merged. So old 1.4.1 and 1.4. Are merged. But here you can see the curriculum feedback is removed. In place of curriculum feedback, they have mentioned academic performance and ambience of the institution. So old two are merged with the 20 weightage, then feedback curriculum is changed to so academic performance and overall ambience. Then coming to which are the matrices removed in criteria 1. 1.1.3, this is the old manual metric number, quantitative with 5 marks weightage. So what is that metric? Teachers of the institution participate in the following activities to the curriculum development and assessment of the affiliating university. So like academic council, BOS, setting of question paper, design and development of curriculum, then assessment and evaluation process of the affiliating university. This was removed. Then another metric 1.2.1 again, which is quantitative 10 points are there weightage. Percentage of programs in which choice-based credit system and elective courses. This is also removed. Then another metric 1.3.2, this is also quantitative metric. Average percentage of courses that include experiential learning through project work, field work, internship, last 5 years. So these three metrics are removed. Then coming to criteria 2. So in criteria 2, what are the changes and new? 2.3.1 qualitative 40 weightage student-centric methods such as experiential learning, participative learning, problem-solving methodologies. and used for enhancing learning experience using ICT tools. So earlier, actually, student-centric method metric is separate, that is 2.3.1. Then using ICT tools for teaching learning, that is 2.3.2. Both are different. Both are qualitative. The weightages are 2020. Now these two are merged. Now they made it as 2.3.1 with weightage is 40. Then another one, 2.5.1 qualitative metric, 40 weightage. Mechanism of internal and external assessment is transparent and grievance redressal system is time bound and efficient. Earlier, 2.5.1 is mechanism of internal external assessment, 2.5.2 is grievance redressal system and time bound related to examination. Now these two are merged and made it a single metric with 40 weightage. Then coming to 2.6.1 qualitative, 45 is the weightage. So program outcomes, course outcomes for all the programs offered by the institution are stated and displayed on the website, and attainment of POs, COs are evaluated. Earlier 2.6.1 POs and COs statements, and 2.6.2 attainment of POs and COs. This time both are merged. So all 2.6.1 and 6.2 are merged. Weightages are combined. So 45 is the weightage. Then another one, 2.4.2, which is quantitative, 25 marks. So earlier this was also there, percentage of full-time teachers with net to SLET, set to PhD, etc. So earlier here weightage is increased. Now earlier net to set to SLET was not there. So this was introduced newly. With the same metric, weightage is increased. So now net, set and SLET are added. So that is the newly added thing. So then in criteria 2, which are the matrices removed? The 2.2.1, which is qualitative for 30 marks. The institution assesses the learning levels of the students and organizes special programs for advanced learners and slow learners. This was removed, qualitative metric for 30 marks. Then 2.3.3 quantitative metric for 15 marks, that is ratio of mentor to students for academic and other related issues. This is also removed. Then 2.4.3 again quantitative with 20 weightage. Average teaching experience of full-time teacher in the same institution. This was removed actually. But data of joining, data of left that will be reflected in extended profile 2.1 and the number of full-time teachers presently working in the institution. But this experience is removed. Now coming to criteria 3, research, innovations and extensions. The changes and new are 3.2.1 qualitative metric, 10 weightage. Institution has created an ecosystem for innovation and initiatives for creation and transfer of knowledge. Here, what is new here? Actually, earlier also this was there, the qualitative metric. The new thing is here, patents filed, published is newly added. Earlier, this was not there. Then 3.4.2 again qualitative metric. This is also old, but here what is the change? Awards and recognitions received for extension activities. So earlier actually this is quantitative metric. Now this is converted into qualitative metric. The same number, but quantitative is converted into qualitative. That means during peer team visit this will be evaluated. Then coming to next metric, 3.1.1. So this is related to quantitative research grants. 10 is the weightage. So now here what is the new? So along with this, earlier there is 3.1.3 departments having grants. Now the departments also merged with research grant, that is 3.1.1. Earlier both are having 5. Now that is merged with total weightage of 10. Now in the single format, name of the investigator, then a department also included. Then other metric 3.2.2, again it is quantitative, 5 is the weightage. This is old only here, what is the new? So this is the number of workshops, seminars, conferences, including on research methodology, intellectual property, and entrepreneurship. So earlier, only workshops, seminars are there. Now, newly conferences also added. Conferences related to research methodology, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship. This is the change here. Then coming to next metric, 3.5.1. So quantitative metric total weightage is 20. Earlier, we are having 3.5.1 collaboration or linkages for faculty, student, internship, field, on the job training, etc. 10 weightage. Now 3.5.2, that is functional MOUs. Now both are merged and make it a single metric, that is 3.5.1 with total weightage 20. So total here all functional MOUs and collaboration or linkages for faculty exchange, student exchange together or combined. So this is the change here. So then coming to what are the metrics removed in criteria 3. So first one 3.1.2 quantitative with 5 weightage, percentage of teachers recognized as research guides. So this was removed earlier, this was there. Then 3.3.1 again quantitative 5 marks, number of PhDs registered per eligible teacher during the last 5 years. 3.1.2 is the guideship eligibility. Then last 5 years PhD guideship, a number of scholars registered, both are removed. Then 3.4.4 quantitative 20 weightage, average percent of students participating in extension activities. Actually 3.4.3 extension activities conducted earlier, that is quantitative. Now this time also that was there. Earlier 3.4.4 students participated in the above 3.4.3 activities conducted. Now this is removed in the new manual. Only activities conducted is there, student participation is removed. So these are all the matrices removed in criteria 3. Then coming to criteria 4, infrastructure and learning resources. So the changes are new. 4.1.1 qualitative metric 20 weightage, availability of adequate infrastructure and physical facilities, classrooms, laboratories, then ICT facilities, then cultural activities, gym, yoga, etc. So earlier actually 4.1.1 qualitative metric only adequate infrastructure and physical facilities. Now earlier we are having quantitative metric classrooms with ICT facilities, that is merged with this qualitative. And 4.1.2 earlier qualitative cultural activities facilities, then gym, yoga, etc. This is there. Now this is also merged with 4.1.1. Finally, see the old 4.1.2 qualitative, that is sports and cultural facilities, merged with 4.1.1, and old 4.1.3 quantitative metric ICT classrooms. So that is merged with this qualitative metric. So total two matrices are merged with this. Then the total weightage is 20. Then coming to next metric, 4.2.1 qualitative 20 is the weightage. Library is automated using integrated library management system, subscription to e-resources, amount spent on purchase of books, journals, and per day usage of library. So earlier we are having qualitative metric on libraries automation only, that is for 5 marks. Now here many matrices are merged, that is old 4.2.2 quantitative metric library e-resources like e-journals is merged with this one. Then 4.2.3 quantitative metric library expenditure is also merged with this one. Then 4.2.4 quantitative metric per day usage of library by teachers and students also merged with this one. So total, so 4.2.2, 2.3, 2.4. So three matrices are merged with this one. Now all are becomes qualitative during team. This will be evaluated for 20 marks. Then 4.3.1 again it is qualitative for 20. Institutions frequently update its IT facilities and provide sufficient bandwidth for internet connection. So updating IT facilities, this is the old qualitative metric for 10 marks weightage. Now the change is, so old one 4.3.3 internet bandwidth separate metric is there, which is quantitative. Now that is merged with this qualitative one 4.3.1. Now updating IT facilities and internet connection bandwidth also merged. Now both will be evaluated during a peer team visit, which is qualitative metric. Then coming to what are the matrices removed in criteria 4. 4.4.2, which is qualitative for 10 marks, there are established systems and procedures for maintaining and utilizing physical, academic, and support facilities like laboratory, library, sports, etc. This is qualitative metric earlier, now this was removed in the new manual. So then coming to criteria 5, student support and progression. Here the changes are new. 5.1.1 quantitative metric 20 is the weightage. percentage of students benefited by scholarship and freeship provided by the government and non-government agencies during last 5 years. So earlier for 5.1.1 only scholarship by the government, then 5.1.2 scholarship or freeship by the management of the institution and non-government. Now that is merged with 5.1.1, but management sponsorship is removed. So only non-government agencies is included. Now together the weightage is 20. Then 5.2.1 quantitative metric, percentage of placements of outgoing students and students progressing to higher education. Earlier 5.2.1 placement separate quantitative metric, then 5.2.2 progression to higher education separate quantitative. Now both are merged. Now weightage is also combined 20. Then coming to next metric, which are the matrices removed in criteria 5. 5.3.2, which is qualitative metric, 5 marks. Institution facilities students' representation and engagement in various administrative, co-curricular, extracurricular activities. So like student council, student representation. Earlier this was qualitative, now this was removed. Now 5.4.2 quantitative for 5 marks alumni contribution, that is budget. So what is the contribution from the alumni? That was removed. So in this new manual. Now coming to criteria 6, governance, leadership and management. The changes in new are 6.1.1 qualitative metric, 10 is the weightage. The governance and leadership is in accordance with the vision and mission of the institution, and it is visible in various institutional practices such as decentralization and participation in the institution governance. Earlier the governance leadership with vision mission, one qualitative metric is there. Now, the decentralization and participative management, again, that is also a qualitative that is merged with this one. Now, 6.1.2 is merged with 6.1.1. Now, the total weightage is 10. But both are qualitative earlier. This time also, the merged one is also a qualitative metric. The next metric, 6.2.1, again qualitative, the weightage is 6. So here the functioning of the institutional bodies with effective as visible from policies, administrative setup, appointments, service rules, procedures, etc. And strategic or perspective development plan. So earlier the functioning of the institutional bodies, that is qualitative metric, separately that is there. Now the next one, strategic and deployment plan, which is also a qualitative, that is merged with this one. So that is old 6.2.2 qualitative metric, institute bodies, etc. That is merged with this one, 6.2.1, that is strategic plan. Both are merged. Next one, 6.3.1, again qualitative, 8 is the weightage. Institution has effective welfare measures for teaching, non-teaching staff and performance appraisal. So earlier welfare measures is the separate metric which is qualitative, and performance appraisal is also a separate qualitative metric. Now these two are merged and made it as 6.3.1. Then both weightages also merged, that is 8. So old 6.3.5 performance appraisal system merged with this welfare measures, that is 6.3.21. Then coming to next metric, 6.3.3, this is quantitative, total weightage is 15. Percentage of teachers and non-teaching staff participating in faculty development programming, professional development, and administrative training programs during last 5 years. So earlier 6.3.3 quantitative metric for faculty attending FDPs, short-term training, etc. Now earlier 6.3.3 administrative development and training programs organized. So that is merged with this one. 6.3.4 is faculty attended FDPs, STTVs, etc. 6.33 is administrative training programs organized for both teaching and non-teaching staff. So now this time 6.3.4 is merged with this, but conducted is removed. So percentage of teaching and non-teaching staff participated in faculty development, professional development, or administrative training program. So this is the change. So both matrices weightage also merged, that is 15. Then coming to next metric, 6.4.1, which is qualitative for 15 marks. Institution has strategies for mobilization and optimal utilization of resources and funds received from various sources, government, non-government organizations, and conducts financial audits regularly. So actually, funds mobilization, optimal utilization, that was their earlier qualitative metric, now which are measured. So 6.4.1 finance and audits, that is internal and external audits. So that was there. That is measured with finance utilization, mobilization of funds. So that is measured with this one, then together. And also one more, funds from various sources, government, non-government organizations like individual philanthropists, that is also combined here. Now the total weightage is 15. So funds received from non-government and other sources, that is earlier quantitative metric, now that is measured with the qualitative metric. So then coming to 6.5.1 qualitative metric, 15 marks. Earlier, related to IQAC, there are two qualitative metrics, that is 6.5.1 IQAC contribution, then 6.5.2 incremental improvement after the first cycle, whoever going for second cycle. So now these two are measured, both are qualitative previously also. The measured one is also qualitative, the weightage is 15. Then what are the metrics removed? So this is 6.4.2 quantitative metric, 8 marks, funds grants received from NGOs, individual philanthropists, etc. So actually this is combined with previously discussed qualitative metric, that is mobilization of funds, then internal external audits. So in that this finance is also included. Then coming to the last criteria, 7, institutional values and best practices. The changes and new are 7.1.1, which is qualitative, weightage is 10. Measures initiated by the institution for the promotion of gender equity and institutional initiatives to celebrate, organize national, international, commemorate days, events and festivals, etc. Earlier, gender initiatives is qualitative, 7.1.1, that for 5 marks, and celebrations of the festivals and birth and death anniversaries, so that is also qualitative for 5 marks. Now these two are measured. So actually 7.1.11, that is qualitative, festivals, events conducted, that is measured with gender promotion activities. No, total weightage is 10. Then coming to next metric, 7.1.2, quantitative, 20 is the weightage. The institution has facilities and initiatives for the following. Number one, alternative sources of energy and energy conservation measure. Actually, earlier this is 7.1.2 quantitative metric, alternative energy like LED, solar, grid to wheel, etc. All are measured here with a single one option. Then management of the various types of degraded and non-degradable waste management. Earlier this is qualitative, 7.1.3, now measured with this quantitative. Then third one, water conservation. Earlier it is quantitative, like water bodies, facilities, ponds, tanks, etc. Now that is measured with this one. Then green campus initiatives, earlier this is separate metric, that is 7.1.5 quantitative, that is measured with this one. Now disabled friendly barrier free environment, that is physically challenged students facilities like lift, ramps, then physically challenged toilet, scribes for exams, etc. That separate metric is measured. Now finally, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five matrices are combined with this one. Then all the matrices weightages are measured, that is total 20. That is 7.1.2. The next one, 7.1.4, qualitative metric. So institutional efforts or initiatives in providing an inclusive environment, that is tolerance, harmony, etc. So now this is earlier qualitative metric only. For this now another one new is added, that is 7.1.9, sensitization of the students, employees, institution to constitutional obligations. So this is measured with 7.1.4. Now altogether, weightage is 10. Both are qualitative at that time. This time also, measured one is also qualitative. Now, what are the metrics removed in criteria 7? 7.1.10, quantitative weightage is 5. The institution has a prescribed code of conduct for student, teachers, etc. So this was removed. Earlier, this was quantitative. Now, in the new manual, this is not there. So these are all the matrices removed in criteria 7. Okay, that's all about the changes in June 2022 manual. So with this, you will get some clarity. So what are the changes? What are the additions? What are the removals? So with this knowledge, so you can prepare your SSR, and you can go for whether you want to current running manual or upcoming new manual. Based on that, you can prepare your SSR and apply for the accreditation. You can subscribe my channel and stay tuned for updates in the upcoming video regarding that new manual. Complete SSR preparation and DVV procedures will be prepared, and you can uh, stay tuned for getting those updates. Thank you one and all for watching this video.